governance specialist. He is the government spokesperson on governance and security. He's also vying for the Boakye North seat, and he's going to be a very busy man indeed sometime next week as the NPP Parliamentary Primaries race on. Palgrave, good morning to you.
A very, 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 very good morning to you, and you look elegant. Happy New Year.
I saw you jamming to the music.
Indeed,
Happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you so
I've got
much.
to be honest, it's one of the more catchy anthem
of a modern patriotic party. And I mean, I like it when I sing it in the constituency and you can see the delegates.
That's how you guys
resounding they are when we sing we are the new
if people catch us with
party.
Music.
We are the new patriotic party.
There are other tunes that are also catchy.
We have won to save Ghana. And I mean, I love the new patriotic party. I cannot be in any other political party.
It's in your veins.
It's in my veins. When you cut me, you would see red before you see blue, and then you see white. I'm blue by nature. I mean, from the very, very old age when my great-grandparents, Dr. Boakye-Danquah in 1947, declared that Ghana was ready for independence. In 10 years, Ghana gained independence up onto the various transitions from the First Republic up onto this Fourth Republic, and how as a united force we have been able to govern and steer this country on the right course. I'm excited for the new patriotic party and the future that is so present under the leadership of Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as our flag bearer and incoming president of the Republic of Ghana.
Palgrave, what an introduction. I don't know if you've come up for air since we started. Very energetic indeed. I like the word you use, united. We'll keep that in mind because I'll come to that. It's a word that has come up this week quite interestingly, and we'll talk about that some more as we progress. But it's good to see you in the studio. You talk about when we cut your blood we see red and blue. I thought we would see red, gold, green and maybe black before we see the other colors seeping through.
You know, the underlying foundation really of every value system is where you're rented from. And you know that in the value system of the 7 pillars of society, one of the basic units is the family unit. And so when you cut your blood, you see the value system of your family, how your parents brought you up, how they taught you to respect, how they taught you to cook, how they taught you to walk, how they taught you to eat at the cutlery on the table, how they taught you to go to school, sleep early, do your assignment and all of that. Really, for those of us that are politically oriented and political activists that have born into a political family, when you cut the blood, before you see the patriotic nature of our Ghanaian value system, you will see the united new patriotic party in our veins, because it is out of there that provides us as a vehicle for us to be able to serve our nation.
I hope also when we cut and we see blue, red, it will be a myriad of colors and yellow and then all
absolutely,
the other colors
absolutely. We serve Ghana, and I mean, let me bring a special greetings to the good people of the Boakye North constituency who have made up their mind that they are going to change leadership and bring me as the next parliamentary candidate for the new patriotic party. A special greetings to my friends and family and delegates all the way from Old Tafo to New Tafo to Kokrintumi to Sokodedra Aso to Osiem to Enginesin to Ariaben to Abrimponsu to Bisodumase to Bediesi to Obodase to Nobi to Tontro to Etukrom to Enginesin to Abuabo and Fisher. I greet all of them, and I'm in no doubt in my mind that the overwhelming 524 delegates are going to make a united decision for the 90,000 inhabitants in the Boakye North constituency to have the right leadership that they so deserve.
You sit at number 2 on the ballot
I sit as number 2 on the ballot paper.
I see.
This is your copy. You can have this.
Let me take a copy of this.
This is your copy, yes.
I see.
I sit
a
at number 2.
Boakye North constituency. What are some of the challenges currently that you see in the constituency?
Very key. I mean, I'll start with this. As a constituency, we are in a constituency that is an agrarian constituency. So basically, majority of the people predominantly are farmers, and they farm in cocoa. And then other things like cassava, yam, plantain, cocoyam, all of the other basics, palm and the likes. So one of my overarching goal is that as an agrarian constituency, which are involved in farming of cocoa, we're going to immediately bring in investors so that we don't just farm cocoa for sustenance in terms of what we do within the local constituency, but we farm cocoa on a commercial basis. So the cocoa that we farm in the constituency would be processed into a cocoa powder, into a cocoa milk, into a cocoa chocolate, and whilst we are processing that, it means that we are building the biggest factory in the Boakye North constituency. So one of my goals and my policy is to make sure that we bring agricultural business into the constituency. Key factor. The second is that young people, for me, are the driving force of every constituency and even the bedrock of every country. The AU has stated very clearly that by the time Africa in the world gets to about 2063, Africa is going to have the highest number of young people in terms of population.
By 2063.
By 2063, the highest number. And so in my constituency, we have large number of young people who are not employed.
I see.
My goal is that as a constituency that has forest, and let me bring special blessings and greetings to our king, which is the Osajifo Amweti Ofori-Penny. He's called the Kwabi Brim Hene, and Kwabi Brim means the king of the forest. And so within the entire Boakye, we have forest reserves. And the goal is to begin a conversation with the Forestry Commission and see how we can have what we do have in Kakum, similar to what we would have in a Boakye North constituency. And I'm estimating that we'll put that around Nobi, because Nobi is also quite a big forest zone, so that we'll be able to drive in a lot more tourists, because you are aware that every single Easter, people go to Kwewu for gliding. And I've proposed that once they leave Kwewu after the gliding, they should come to a Boakye North for a canopy walk. And then they come to Boakye North as well to see the big 5 animals. I was in Safari Valley and I saw the zebra. And whilst we had conversations around what a zebra is, the tour guide said the color of a zebra is black.
What, completely black?
Completely black.
I see.
Completely black. And that the stripes that come on the zebra, which is white, is what is to ensure that the zebra is keeping warm when the weather is either hot or cold.
That's interesting.
Very, very interesting. And so the goal is that when I bring these 5 animals, my children, my nephews, my nieces, the people in the constituency will be able to see a variety of animals.
So you're going along the lines of tourism.
I'm going along the lines of tourism.
That's a very big thing. We talk a lot about tourism in Ghana and how the states can rake in more money by promoting even domestic tourism, not even just for outsiders to come and see what we have. So you say in Boakye North, very soon we'll be able to come and see some of these zebras and other animals.
Camels, elephants.
There are camels there?
No, they are not. It's something we are going to bring. Yes.
I see.
Yes, we're going to bring from Australia and we're going to bring from South Africa. I've already begun conversations with a number of my partners who are in there. We're going to bring them into the constituency. And then I'm going to also send the inhabitants of the constituency to go and learn, because I'm going to send them to Kakum to go and learn how to tour guide, to go and learn how to prepare the canopy walk, and then we can have a lot more obstacle course within the constituency. And my constituency also has a golf course.
Currently, as we speak, a
Boakye North constituency has a golf course. It's in New Tafo.
I see.
Yes, and we have, the Otumfo Osei comes to play golf. The Osajifo Amweti Ofori-Penny comes to play golf. Vodafone sometimes comes to have golf tournaments there. The goal is to ensure that the inhabitants also learn how to play golf. Because you see, the good thing about golfing is that golfing is not just for older people.
But golfing is not a cheap sport, Palgrave.
I know. But then you see, that's where the people in the village, like my friends in Nobi, my friends in Nobodasi, my friends in Abuabo, my friends in Fisher, when they hold the club, they'll be excited that they are holding the club.
Palgrave, does this is quite interesting because you bring in golf, because we also know, as you mentioned, that unemployment remains a big challenge, not just in your constituency, but just countrywide as well. People are looking for food to eat. Do you think they'll be interested in golfing at this time?
People would be very, very interested in sporting because it brings a lot more discipline.
Okay.
I grew up in the barracks, and I've seen the benefit of growing up in the barracks, and how it's groomed me and shaped me and disciplined me. My prayer is that in the next government of the New Patriotic Party, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would bring a policy up that would suppose and suggest that every single graduate from senior high school and university would do a 1-year compulsory military service. It would change the dynamics of the country. When you go to Israel, I lived and schooled in Israel for 3 years.
I see.
When you go to Israel, because of the Yom Kippur War, which happened years ago, every single young person, right after university, you will do a 1-year service in the Israel army. And you'll be taught how to hold a gun, and you'll be taught how to shoot, and you'll be taught how to protect yourself. So the goal is that you need to bring discipline into people, when you bring discipline into people, it changes their whole lives and their whole perspectives, and it gives them a course of direction for their future. So I can understand that unemployment is key, but when I bring the game reserve, it's a one-stop employment opportunity, because you will need drivers, you will need security guards, you will need tour guides, you will need people who would be able to prepare food, you will need hospitality. So you're going to open up the industry. And I look at my constituency as an extremely poor constituency.
You say it's extremely poor?
Extremely poor, and I'll tell you why. Because just about 2-3 days ago, I worked in the constituency around one of the towns, and I was very hungry, and I decided to buy buffaloes. I mean, simple buffalo. It was 3 Ghana cedis. For 3 Ghana cedis.
A reflection of what's going on across the board.
Absolutely. And so I did ask, when did you prepare this buffalo? She said a day before. And at the time I was buying, it was around 4 p.m. And I counted 10 buffaloes in the sieve. And I looked at it and I was like, 3 Ghana cedis, and it's gone into a second day, and a possibility of going into a third day. I was very hungry, so I bought the buffaloes, I bought Coca-Cola, and I bought granite, and I started chewing. Whilst I started chewing, I was nuggeting in my brains that if buffaloes can go 3 days unsold in my constituency, then we need to be able to empower the people. We need to empower the people so that buffaloes can be sold and completed, so that cocoa can be sold and completed, so that kenke and wanche can be sold and completed, so that people are not preparing food that people are not buying because they do not have money. So the goal is to equip the young people. The goal is to equip the elderly people so they can afford school fees, 300 cedis, 400 cedis, afford hospital bills, afford a number of things that government has put in place in terms of policy directives, a number of things that an innovative, out-of-the-box thinking parliamentary candidate aspirant is bringing to the constituency. So that's my overarching goal.
Let's expand the conversation a little bit then, because we talk about unemployment and the economic situation, and we talk about it being a countrywide situation that even our president has admitted to, that we are not in normal times, we are in difficult times. If you listen to government, they some might say excuses, some might say reasons are being given as to why we find ourselves in this place. What would be, if things don't improve countrywide, then that impact will not be felt in Boakye North?
I'll tell you something, the other way around. Sure. The other way around is to ensure that we don't have a top-bottom approach. The other way around is to have a bottom-up approach. A bottom-up approach. Okay. And really, to have a bottom-up approach, which is why I agree excellently with President Danquah in the decentralization policies that we have. Because if you recall, on the 19th of December 2019, the President wanted us to have a referendum which gives power to the local community to be able to appoint their own MMDCs and DCs.
That conversation came up?
Yes, that conversation came up. I was very saddened in my heart, from a background of governance and democracy and understanding of politics, that we're giving power to the locals to be able to appoint their own MMDCs, and they threw it out of the bucket. The goal is that when we equip the locals and we equip them with a lot more employable opportunities, then it's a bottom-up approach to be able to ensure that at the larger scale, they do not struggle. And I'll tell you one thing. President Danquah has helped out with free SHS. Every single person in my constituency has finished free SHS.
Palgrave, we're getting into free SHS.
Let me come in. Let me just finish that. But the goal is that after free SHS, people need to continue.
That's right.
To do tertiary.
That's right.
Every single young person I have met in the constituency who have finished President Danquah's free SHS, and even others that went to free SHS, that went to SHS, which was not free and have also completed, but because they didn't have money or their parents didn't have money and have not been able to continue into tertiary, I've brought a scholarship scheme. It's called the Boakye-Danquah Scholarship Scheme, and I am giving every single young person an opportunity to go to the tertiary, because you see that is going to impact the constituency largely. If every single person in my constituency, young people who have finished SHS, get an opportunity to go to the university, then they become an employable entity. One of the overarching goals, which is the God that we serve, is that God has blessed us so much, and in the blessings of God, God did not just give wisdom and common sense and knowledge to rich people. He balanced it and gave it to everybody. So you can see people from a very deprived community, but extremely very intelligent. The goal is to grant opportunities for them. I've looked at the results. I've seen that given the needed opportunity, these young people can be able to further their studies.
What were the results like for the students in the constituency? Did they do well?
Very well.
Really?
Very well. In fact, most of the results I've seen, I've not seen an F, I've not seen an E, I've not seen a D. It's an A, B, and C.
I see.
All the results I've seen.
So the students, they
do
performed
very,
well.
very well.
But now
OPAS is in my constituency. OPAS is in my constituency.
Right.
Bright is in my constituency.
Okay.
AMES is in my constituency. They pass exceedingly well. I brought a few of them to Ghana Telecom University. I'm taking some of them to All Nations University on the Boakye-Danquah scholarship
So now
scheme.
it's a case of once they finish, moving them on to the tertiary level,
Moving
which
them on onto
is
the tertiary.
an issue that also nationwide we see. But because you bring up free SHS, what has been the feedback from your constituents as far as free SHS is concerned? And I know that at its foundation, I sit here every morning, I test the pulse of the people. At its foundation, a lot of people, myself included, think it's a brilliant initiative by our president to afford a lot more people the opportunity to be educated. Nobody faults that. I rarely hear that being a pushback, that it's something that shouldn't have happened. But we know that in recent times, and as the years have gone on, it's become fraught with some challenges. For me, something that was quite heartbreaking, I believe it was 2022, towards the middle of the year, maybe 2023, I stand to be corrected, where in some of the schools in the eastern region where I come from, didn't have enough food to supply their young ones with, such that for their inter-school competitions, some of them had to stay back. These are some of the challenges we see with the free SHS policy. Just yesterday, a story broke about the Parents Association having to step up to the plate. So it's something that I'm sure in your constituency comes up as conversation. Honestly, Palgrave, what is the feedback?
Honestly, I'll tell you, free SHS is a game changer. Is a big game changer, because there are people who finish junior high school and can't continue because they didn't have money until President Danquah brought free SHS. So I have young people in my constituency who are 23, 24, who are in SS2, because when they finished junior high, they didn't have money. Their parents didn't have money. They couldn't afford SHS. So the feedback is extremely good. The free SHS policy in my constituency is a game changer. And so I am even encouraging other people who are meeting, who are young people, who are not even delegates that are going to vote in the election on 27th, for me, as their parliamentary candidate, but they are inhabitants of my constituency, who are either 28, 29, who finished junior high school and didn't finish, didn't continue, and they are now trying to learn how to do a trade and everything. I've said, go to President Danquah Kufuor's free SHS. And then when you finish that, you can come and do TVET. And then when you do TVET, you can have a competitive advantage. So the response is very key. So in
the Boakye North constituency, you do get good feedback. What do you make of calls that say we have to review the scheme, the policy? We have to review it. It's come up a number of times, even from the NPP, the issue of review. This is not anything that is new. You've been asked this question a number of times. What are you telling the people of Boakye North as far as free SHS is concerned? Yes, they are enjoying the benefits, but the issues do remain. Maybe not as much in your constituency, but elsewhere.
You know, one of the reasons why I need to be in Parliament is to have this conversation. That is why I need to be in Parliament. I need to be in Parliament to catch the eye of the Speaker. I need to be in Parliament to sit with the majority caucus, sit with the Education Committee, and bring the issues up very well. That's one of the reasons why I need to be in Parliament. I cannot sit on the benches and then do a play. I need to be in the game itself. On the floor of the Parliament, we'll be able to expatiate the issues very well. That we have looked at free SHS from 2017. It's impacted 5 million plus people. What are the next stages of free SHS? Because we've brought STEM, we've brought science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We've brought it from the very basic level right up to the very senior high level. We've brought free TVET. And so what are the next steps? Now, it is also stated that it is only someone who is not thinking of the future that doesn't want to look back and relook at things. I mean, that's why every single year there's a new year. There's a new year because it gives you an opportunity to grow more. It gives you an opportunity
and I like that. Not to slight tackle you, Palgrave. I like what you say, because they say that you should be prepared to change your mind whenever you are presented with new information.
Good.
You agree with that?
I do agree.
Okay.
I do agree. So yes, I can understand the politics at play. But really, I have said that no one can do politics with education, because education is a cut across. It's the bloodline of the generation. It's the bloodline of the country. And so no one can do politics with it. But one of the reasons why I need to be in Parliament is to catch the eye of the Speaker and be able to overtly advocate the policies that President Danquah had put in place. Because by the time I'm getting to Parliament, it will be a new government of President Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
You're confident of this?
I'm very confident.
Is the NPP breaking the eight?
The New Patriotic Party is winning the 2024 election, is winning the successive election. I think that Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is winning the election. Very confident.
From where you sit?
From where I sit.
The polls suggest otherwise,
well,
Palgrave.
the polls are not, the polls really is not a representation of what is going to happen on the 7th of December.
We have to go on the ground. Is that what you're saying?
Go deeper into the ground. And I'll tell you, you see, when I win my elections next week and I come here, we'll have a major conversation around John Dramani Mahama and what he seeks to bring vis-a-vis Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party.
You say
and
we'll
the
be able to have
a
dispassionate, clear conversation.
I would have a dispassionate, clear, intellectual, argumentative, non-emotional discussion with you. I would have that with you.
Is that what is missing in our landscape when we talk politics? Is it too, have we gone too deeply partisan that sometimes when presented with the bare facts, we refuse to acknowledge the facts? Do you think we've gotten to that place? Are we already there?
Well, that's politics. That's what politics is. Politics is partisan. I mean, you need to put your right foot forward. You need to be able to ensure that whatever decision that you're making is aligning to your own core values and your own core ideologies and philosophies of the New Patriotic Party or of your political party. So that's what politics is. Whatever it is, you need to see it in light of what the future holds for your party. You understand? But I'm stating that when I look at the key indicators of what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia brings on the table for Ghana, and I look at the key indicators. I've been in the constituency all this while, but in the constituency, I heard that the flag bearer of the NDC said he wants a honeymoon. I
listened to that. Palgrave, you take exception to that because
I was quite surprised.
Palgrave, let's get into that actually a little bit quickly because that is something that comes up a lot. And I know that whilst you've been campaigning, promises have been made. The Ghanaian people are saying that over the years, we've had a lot of promises being made. When I come, I will do this, I will do that, I will do that. And a lot of times, it doesn't materialize. If I sit here and I cast my mind back to the 2020 NPP manifesto, I think about some of the initiatives that I thought were super wonderful. I couldn't wait that have not materialized. You can appreciate that now when politicians speak to us, they have to be measured and say, listen, actually, when I come, I might be constrained. Do you think that's something that a cue that maybe the NPP can take? I mean, you've taken exception to that.
See,
but what about over-promising and under-delivering?
I'll tell you something. I have promised my constituency an eco environment in terms of tourism.
Right.
I have already begun the conversations at the back door.
Okay.
If you want to be president, like John Dramani Mahama wants to be, in terms of coming for a second term, which I know the Ghanaian people are not going to vote for him, you need to be prepared. I want to become an MP, and I am going to become an MP for the good people of Boakye-Danquah North constituency. I've already begun my work. I've already started engaging my stakeholders. I've already started engaging developmental partners. I've already started engaging state institutions. Because in the next 2 weeks, I'm a parliamentary candidate for the New Patriotic Party in my constituency, which is a stronghold. And so I've already begun work. When was NDC in opposition? 2016. Are you trying to say that from 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, losing the 2020 election, and subsequently going to lose the 2024 election, you want a honeymoon?
You say you're not seeing the groundwork that is being done behind the scenes.
What groundwork is NDC doing? If NDC was doing any groundwork, there will be a better alternative. Their leader will not come and say he needs a honeymoon. I don't need a honeymoon when I win my seat.
You're ready to take over.
I'm hitting the ground running. I'm hitting the ground running immediately after my victory speech. On Saturday 27th, there about 5:30, 6 o'clock, when the ballot is finished counting, you would be one of the first people who would interview me. I'm hitting the ground running. I'm gathering all the aspirants who lost the elections and telling them that we should forge ahead for a greater fight. I'm gathering all the constituents. I'm telling them that the overwhelming number of 92,000 people who live in my constituency deserve better. I'm gathering all the 32,000 electors who would vote for me in December 7th as the parliamentary candidate for the New Patriotic Party. I'm gathering all of them together. I'm telling them that there's a bigger fight ahead. I'm telling them that the constituency need boreholes. I'm telling them that I'm going to be lobbying to ensure that road networks is done. I'm telling them that a lot of things that need to be done, I'm going to do that. So I don't need any honeymoon.
You can check out our Facebook page right about now if you want to see what Palgrave is talking about. We're streaming some of the
these are my projects. So these are my boreholes.
So okay, so this is a borehole construction in progress. And again, head over to our Facebook page at 3FM 92.7 and you can see what's been going on. All this week we've been talking to parliamentary aspirants and they've been telling us of some of the work that they've been doing in their constituency. But Palgrave, I've got a quick question about some of these projects. Are these projects that have been going on long before now, or how recent are these?
These are projects that I began.
Okay.
Very recently.
Okay.
About July or so. That's when I began these projects.
This is to woo your constituents?
No, this is to ensure that I meet a need in my constituency. Yesterday I was in Kokrentumi in Apotos. My message was less than 1 minute. I told them that what I do for the constituents, it's not because I want them to vote for me. It is who I am. It is who I am.
But
I'm philanthropic by nature.
You only just started.
I'm philanthropic by nature. I mean, my philanthropic nature has been well averse across the country. People who know me know how philanthropic I've been. From Boakye-Danquah to Zavulugu, from Nyanpanduri to Achimota. People know. From Kumasi to Accra, from Kokrentumi to Tafo, from Nobi to Ariabin. People know. They know the works that I do. And I've said that the philanthropic nature, and you see, every single MP has to be resourceful. Every single MP has to be philanthropic because the work is a calling.
Or connected. What about that?
Networked
in the right corners, in the right circles.
Corners. And I am networked in the right corners. Very, very networked in the right corners. You know, all of my life, the people that I've networked with see that I'm a person of integrity. And people give to people of integrity. People give to people of vision. People give to people of values. And people have seen that whatever contributions that they have made in my life, either by knowledge, by prayer, by funds, they have seen that it's gone to the rightful use. And so what I'm doing for the constituency, by paying school fees, by taking care of people who are ill. Yesterday, a young person had an accident. His leg is broken. I'm going to perform a surgery today. It's costing me 15,000 Ghana cedis. Not because I want him to vote for me, because his leg is broken. It needs to be done.
Before this particular primaries, if you had been called upon, you would have been able to assist. You would have been glad to assist.
There were needs in the constituency that I started fixing, even when I was not in the country.
I see.
Because there were constituents who were not residents in Ghana, but were residents in London or were residents in America, whom I knew were from my constituency. I assisted them. I helped them. I aided them. I guided them. I mentored them. I coached them. I gave them great opportunities. And so really, for me, I think that the people of Boakye North are about to experience the right leadership. I think that the people of Boakye North are about to experience the leadership that is apt, the leadership that is caring, the leadership that is mothering, the leadership that is fathering, and the leadership that is able to ensure that it moves people from stage 1 to stage 5.
Now, Palgrave, you are a government spokesperson on governance and security. What is the security situation like in the constituency of Boakye North?
The Boakye North constituency security is safe.
Okay.
Very, very safe. The commanders of the Ghana Police Service have been doing extremely well. Regional office as well has been doing extremely well. You know, Eastern region is very peaceful. And I think that we need to give credit to the IGP, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare. He's done extremely well. I think sometime this week, I realized that they stated that road accidents has been decreased.
It's gone down marginally.
Yes. And you see, people don't know, but it's gone down marginally because the police have been effective.
So you see that visibility we're seeing more.
The visibility of the police.
Is that the same in Boakye North?
Huge. Yes, the same. The FPU have been mounting up, stop all around the various constituency. The police presence is very key and very strong in my constituency. And so I'm pleased with what the stakeholders like the Ghana Police Service is doing in my constituency. Special greetings to Commander Ampofo from my constituency as a district commander, and then the Eastern Regional Commander, COP Chumesi. I know them and I speak to them on a regular basis. And I can't say they can't wait, but I know they can't wait for me to become an MP.
Interesting.
I know they can't.
But how has the campaign trail been so far? Because in other constituencies where we've had the spotlight on, I mean, the kids call it pan for pan. It's been a bit vivacious, very energetic. And when you said the word a united party, I cast my mind back to some of the happenings in the last sort of 2 weeks, even last week, and it gives me some cause for concern. I say cause for concern because as a citizen of this country, we've got two major parties that interchange with power. So any indication that one party might be shaky is a concern for all the citizens of the land. Would you say that the NPP party is united? Are the cracks that we are clearly seeing, deepening?
The New Patriotic Party is a very united party. In my constituency, we run a very matured campaign. There are 5 of us that are competing. Five people that are competing. I'm going to remain victorious because I'm number 2 on the ballot. And we are running a very matured, very matured and clean campaign.
Talk to me about that.
If we step on anyone's toes, we are matured enough to say sorry. And we try to make sure that we remain in our boundaries.
Why isn't this being replicated across the board?
Well, I think that, you see, there are peculiar issues in some constituencies where I have listened to. So I did hear of what is happening in Saoma Joji.
That's
with,
right.
Hayford and Dumpre.
That's right.
And the removal of Hayford's posters and everything. I have pasted posters in my constituency that has been removed, but it's not a matter that I will bring it to the media.
Oh, you just told us about it.
Well, yes, I've just told you about it, but it's not a concern for me.
You say it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal,
okay? Really,
because you see, that's childhood, that's child politics. And that's what we do in the universities. Because I have more posters. If I paste it and you remove it, I'll paste some more.
Got it.
You understand? And I'll speak to the delegates, and the delegates will see that I'm the right person. You are just threatened by me. So I'll paste more. In fact, this week I'm going to paste an extra 1,700 posters. I'm going to splash the whole constituency.
Wow.
Yes, very much so.
You are part of the people who make our infrastructure look some way because it will rain, it will be peeling.
This is a sticker poster. And I'll tell you. You see, politics has modernized. And so one of the days where you need the paint and then you brush it and then you put the poster there. No, these are stickers.
Will you be able to remove all 1,700 after?
In fact, you see, I'll tell you the truth. The posters I posted in the Tukrom, and that was removed. They removed it. There were no stains on the wall.
Okay, so they just go and you peel it.
I posted posters from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the whole Etucrom into OCM. When I woke up the next morning, I said, let me drive through and see. They removed everything. They removed everything. You see, but really, you see, for me, it makes me happy because I'm like, oh, wow, it means that I'm a threat. You understand?
Politics is an interesting game.
Politics is a very interesting game. But, I mean, this is what is galvanizing the grassroots of the New Patriotic Party. And this is a very healthy contest. And so for me, for the issues that also happen in Asante Achim with Kofi Nkansa and Apia Kubi with the reporting to the OSP and all of that, I think that those are issues that must not even come to the light of day. They are very, very serious issues.
You said the issue of monocracy, we should pause it?
No, let's put it in context.
Let's do that.
The context of it is this. I mean, during the new year, I share things in my constituency, okay? Because for me, it's an act of benevolence, okay? So I shared rice. Okay. I shared oil. Okay. I shared salt. I shared water. I shared eggs. I shared chicken. And then I shared a box of drink.
Okay.
And I blessed it with every constituency and even the inhabitants of the constituency. Because it's an act of giving. In New Year, you give gifts. In Christmas, you give gifts. Some people don't give those gifts. They give money because they feel that you will need it to either pay your children's school fees. That's what happens.
Doesn't that worry you, Palgrave?
It concerns me, really. It concerns me that we are gradually getting to a stage where money has to become a decider, which is why I have stepped up my game.
Okay.
So you see, I've come from the constituency into Accra, the capital, to have an interview, and my constituents are listening to me, and they are saying that this is a value-driven leader, because you need a leader who goes to Parliament to parley. In Parliament, you go to parley. You don't go to Parliament and just sit there. And when they ask you how was Parliament, it was good. How was Parliament? Yeah. How was Parliament? We agreed. No, you go to Parliament to parley. And the overarching goal is that I would become an MP who would go to Parliament to speak, to advocate for the needs of my people. I would make sure that I catch the eye of the Speaker. I will make sure that I catch the eye of the sitting President, which would be Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, so that the needs of my constituents would be met.
Because for every constituent and constituency member, that is at the forefront of all their issues, somebody who can advocate for their needs, somebody, like you say, who can go to the House of Parliament, catch the eye of the Speaker, and, lobby for their interests. I think these days we're becoming more discerning, so we can sort of appreciate what the job of an MP should be. Do you think a lot more citizens or the citizenry are aware really of what their MP's mandate is? In Boakye North, for example, do they understand really what your role is going to be? If you are successful?
Yes, when I am successful, because I would be, not an if. You see, the people of Boakye North has groomed politicians over the years. President Boakye-Danquah was an MP in Boakye before it was divided into two in 2004 by President John Ajay Kufuor. And we've groomed a lot of people from Eastern region and even in Boakye have grown up to become ministers and even to become a president like Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So they do understand. And you see, the peculiarity of the parliament that we have now, which is the 8th parliament, gives everybody an interest in what happens in parliament. Because we almost have a hung parliament, even though we don't. But it's a very close edge.
That's right.
And so now minority has very equal power, close to majority. It's just a number of one.
Some might argue that even with that number, we're not really seeing.
I think
that
we are.
effect of it. You think so?
I think government feels the effect, and I'll tell you. Okay. I'll tell you one simple effect that we felt during the passage of the e-levy.
I knew you were going to say
absolutely, because clearly the minority stood their grounds, and that gave government a lot more delayance in the passage of the e-levy. So this parliament that we have is one of the most case studies parliament that we need to watch. And so it's giving every constituent an idea that now in three parliament are heading. Because if you go there are over 200 plus parliamentarians who are representing the various constituents who have needs, that those needs must be advocated. If you don't catch the eye of the speaker, you can sit in parliament throughout the sessions, throughout the meetings and everything, and the committees, and you will not have said anything. And your constituents will not have had anything. And you can be in parliament where you are either not a minister or a deputy minister, you are not sitting on any committee as a head. You may be, everybody in parliament is in a committee.
But you're not a ranking member,
you're not a ranking member, you're just a normal member. It means your constituents are going to suffer. Especially when you are not maybe an outside the box, innovative MP. So the goal is to have one who is young, who is knowledgeable, who is networked, who is humble, who is respectful, who is available, who is faithful, who is enthusiastic, who is relational, who is teachable, to come in and be able to, because you see, I have good relationships with a sizable number of the parliamentarians in parliament from the majority side and even from the minority side.
Why do you say and even? It should be important that you have.
Absolutely. No, but
that shouldn't be an uneven.
Well, okay, and the minority side. Very, very good friends.
Because you are collaborative partners.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
And I like the keyword, collaborative partners, for the purposes of our democracy. For the purposes of our democracy. And united, we can be able to forge ahead. Because in my constituency, obviously NDC has a presence.
That's right.
But I'm going to represent them as their MP. And I'm going to make sure that their needs are met.
They heard you this morning saying that when you cut your arm open, the blood that oozes out, it is colored blue and red.
When you see an NDC parliamentary candidate come to sit here, he won't tell you that the blood that cuts out is red.
I'll ask him the exact same question.
They will tell you the color of the NDC. I don't even know the color of the NDC.
You are aware of the color.
Yellow, white, something, but really... That's the joy of politics.
Right.
See. That's the joy of politics, where I can extend a conversation with the Honorable Okunjato Ablakwa, whom I was with at the University of Ghana, my senior. Okay?
I see. We call him Honorable Interceptor.
Yes.
Every now and again, Palgrave, he brings out some documentation. I know it gets your heart thumping. I know it.
So yeah. So I started right hand. I will speak to I've forgotten their name. My friend.
Comrade. Comrade.
Yes,
Comrade is there?
Comrade, yes. Murtala Mohammed.
Yes.
Murtala Mohammed. Sam George. My friends from the other side. John Jinapo. And a number of them.
Because you guys are really friends. You guys, engage, you pull the wool over our heads. We see you guys here. You spar. The parley goes on. You go outside. You say, hey, Charlie, what's up?
We engage. And so I know they can't wait for me to come to Parliament. I know very well because they have told me, Palgrave, we knew doing parliament.
They want to Georgia with you.
Yes, and I think that, you see, beyond the Georgia as well, we need someone who can be able to bring parliamentary affairs to the media.
Okay.
I don't think we have that. I think there's a vacuum, and that's the vacuum I'm going to fill.
In what sense? Paint a picture for us.
You know that in Parliament, every single issue that happens in Parliament, you would either have it from the parliamentary correspondence.
Yes, and we have a few. We've got Komla here, Duke is here as well.
That's what I'm saying. So you have parliamentary correspondence, but there is not that singular person who would represent Parliament and the business of the day of Parliament and bring it to the media. For me, my greatest strength is advocacy. And I'm a simple communicator. I've communicated for the government of President Boakye-Danquah. I've also communicated for Jesus Christ because I'm a pastor.
I see.
Yes.
I'm aware of that, actually.
Yes, an evangelist. So I've communicated for God and still communicate for God, communicating for Ghana. When I get to the chamber, when you and I have conversations, as the MP from a Boakye-Danquah constituency, and you ask me, Palgrave, what is happening in Parliament, I'll be able to advocate the whole issue of what is happening in Parliament, the bills that are coming to Parliament, what the parliamentary thinking is like on a particular bill, the legislative instrument that is coming into Parliament, what the parliamentary thinking is like on that legislative instrument. And all of that, I think that I'm going to play a very key role in Parliament, both for the minority and the majority, and even for the Speaker. I'm going to play a very key role. And you and I are going to be engaging a lot more from the chamber in the 9th Parliament.
Well, time check. It is some 11 minutes to the top of the 10 a.m. You're still live here on 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We're having a conversation with Palgrave Boakye-Danquah. He's a government spokesperson on governance and security. And more importantly, he wants to become the Member of Parliament for the Boakye North constituency. Next week is a date or a time to watch. We're keenly keeping our focus on what is going on with the NPP primaries. I know we talked a little bit about what's going on also across the board, and there have been some constituencies that have been quite heated, quite hot. What is the MPP's plan post these primaries? I can expect that because some people will be disappointed, it might not be smooth sailing after that. What are the plans to ensure that you guys bounce back, if you will, or forge ahead?
So I would assume to speak from light of what I feel would be done after the election. After the election, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, will now have a full team that he would need to use into the 2024 general election, which is the December election.
Right.
I'm certain that an immediate meeting will be held for all the parliamentary candidates because we've had our orphan constituencies and now we've had our strongholds. So
that's right.
A meeting will be held. And then a conversation would be driven forward in terms of how to strategically place ourselves at various places to impact the Ghanaian economy and prepare to win the 2024 general election. That is going to be key. In that period, wounds will be healed. In that period,
you're confident.
I'm very confident with that, which is why the issues that are happening at various places need not happen. If they are stemming up from a threatening MP, it need not come into the media. You understand? Because it's one political party, it's one family, and we are going into a very healthy contest. It's the delegates that are going to make a decision.
That's right.
And they're going to make a decision based on how they feel and believe that you can assist them and even assist the constituents. And that's what they're going to do. Because I come on the tagline, here to serve. It's a very simple tagline that I'm really here to serve the constituents. I'm here to listen to your needs and then bring your needs for us to put in the buffet of ideas. Put it together to prepare a timeline. And then also I would add my own contributions that I want to bring into the constituency. And then together we can be stronger. So I'm certain that the New Patriotic Party is going to remain stronger and firmer. And February is going to be the beginning of our path towards the 2024 December election, which is going to be a win for the New Patriotic Party in terms of the strategies that we're going to put in place under the leadership of Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Well, here at your Election Command Center, we will have our eyes, ears, everything firmly on the NPP primaries Saturday, the 27th of January, 2024. Palgrave, what happens in the event that you say in the very small, slim event that you are unsuccessful on the 27th?
That is not going to happen.
It's not a possibility.
It's not a possibility at all because, you see, we are running a possibility here. the New Patriotic Party this year is a year of possibility. Our flag bearer, Haji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has sent a very strong signal to all NPP members that it's a year of possibility. So that's not going to happen. I'm going to win the election, and I'm going to have an interview with you. You should keep an eye on the Boakye North constituency as well.
My beady eyes
Put
are
your
firmly
eyes there,
on the constituency.
because on the day they are declaring, you will hear none other name than Palgrave, Boakye-Danquah, and the Electoral Commission will lift up my hand and say that this is the parliamentary candidate elect, and it will be victory for the New Patriotic Party.
Palgrave, you've already dreamt of this. I think this one, it came to you in a dream, because it's a very vivid account of what's going to happen on the 27th.
You know, I tell you something. This morning I met one of your social media guys, George, and I told him that dreams become realities. And really, dreams do become realities. This is a dream, and it would become a reality, because I want to serve the good people of Achime Boakye North constituency. That dream will become a reality. It's about to happen.
Well, the constituents will make up their mind on January 27th, 2024, whether or not we'll be engaging with Palgrave as their elected candidate. Time will certainly tell. But seeing as you're giving us some predictions, tonight the Black Stars face off against Egypt. Palgrave, what is going to be the scoreline?
Egypt is our in-laws.
From what? The Times of Nkrumah?
Yes, we are married to them.
Okay.
I think that everybody was saddened with the first match.
Yes.
And how it ended.
That's right.
Please, Black Stars, we beg you. We are in election season. Make us happy small.
You say a win is a win.
Make us happy small. At least a 2-0 will not be bad.
A 2-0 will not be bad. Okay. Yes. I think a 2-0 could be quite good. I'm praying that it goes the Black Stars way. But Palgrave, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, this morning. I know we'll have a chance to get deeper into some of the issues that are plaguing not just the people of Ghana. I know the people of Boakye North also want some.
Remind them, it's number 2. Pick up your ballot. It's
Palgrave
number
says
2.
To remind you that he's number 2.
Number 2 on the, hold it well, on number 2 on the ballot. Number 2. Number 2 on the ballot.
We'll end this conversation with Palgrave's favorite song. What a conversation it has been.
Oh, give me Dana Hamilton. We come in the name of Jesus.
Oh, we wanted to end with the should we switch it up? I was going to be mischievous, but let me not do that. Palgrave, a pleasure as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.